Gary's here.
Gary.
Gary, you've now made it possible for us to meet. Yes.
I know, I don't see mine.
Oh, did I forget yours?
Maybe it's, you've got two, Jessica.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, Kristen just walked in, I think so.
I think I have one upstairs. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Next time.
I'm not.
I'm so sorry.
It's not causing a change. I was like, did I turn off now?
We know she did.
And you are.
All good with A.
Yeah.
Evening.
Oh, Kristen.
Well, it's 6 o'clock. Everybody seems to be here. Shall we call the meeting to order? Call the meeting to order.
Yes.
Have a moment of silence to contemplate our activities for the evening. Thank you. And Kevin, did you want to do the roll call?
Yes. Mayor Sean Reardon. City Council President Ed Cameron. James Connolly,
Here?
Karen Cullinan,
Here.
Kristen Donahue,
Here.
Gary Gorski,
Here.
Christian Hansen. Here. Caroline McCarthy,
Here.
Stephen Moore,
Here.
Sarah Spalding,
Here.
Madeline Whitman.
Here.
Well, do you want to do any introductions? Is that necessary or?
We do have one guest, this evening. Everyone say hello to Stacy Brandon. Stacy is the president of the Friends of the Newburyport Public Library. She will be giving a presentation, on the update of the Friends activities.
So do you want to do that a little later on in the meeting?
That is actually the first item of new business.
Okay. So any public comment? Everybody's had a chance to review the previous meeting minutes, June 17th.
That's my corrections on Kevin.
Yes, and I've made the corrections that Gary has
With
recommended.
Gary's corrections, can I have a motion to approve them? Somebody? Is there a second?
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody in favor? Everybody opposed?
Yeah.
I guess I was up there as well.
So
Two
Sarah,
abstentions.
Sarah and Christian abstain.
The next meeting date will be October 15th, 2025.
I didn't get the first ring.
You did. I know.
And then for new business,
I'd like to invite Stacy Brandon to,
You want me to move up like I did?
just a little bit so that, the owl can get you for our recording.
Ah, there I am. Okay, great. Thank you very much for letting me come and give you a little update on what the Friends have been doing and how our 2024-2025 year went. I have copies, you get the advanced copies of our annual report, which we will be handing out next Wednesday night. You would send those over that way. We have our annual meeting next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We are having a speaker this year. We did not have a speaker last year. We've had speakers previous years. This year we are having Ted Reinstein from Chronicle come to speak about his new book. So, and we're going to do a raffle of a signed copy right before he starts speaking, and then he will be here to sign books. We basically are sold out at the moment, which is great, because we were really worried that we would have an empty room. But, and he's been very nice about giving us the same price that he charges libraries, so, which is very reasonable. So, that's terrific. So we're looking forward to that, because we'll have a lot of people that are not members coming, which is always good for us to tell people what we do. Be a couple boring speeches, but not too much, so. that's
I'll keep
good.
mine short.
Well, I wrote mine tonight, it's like super short, so, because no one is gonna wanna hear us speak. So, but it does give us an opportunity to talk about who the friends are. People are very confused.
Sorry, just real quick,
Yes.
the meeting is here, that meeting is here?
Yes, yes, there probably are still a couple slots if you wanna come. It starts at 7. We will have, thanks to Shaw's donation, we will have some refreshments, so. It'll be, you know, a nice, I'm sure you're very relaxed meeting. We anticipate the meeting part to take about 20 minutes. So it's all pretty perfunctory. But we have produced a little easy to read annual report, if you will. So people can visually get some idea of what the Friends do, who we are. As I'm sure you know, we are all volunteers. And we have 2 new people coming on this year, which is great. And we raised a little bit more this year than last year, which is wonderful. And it's interesting because the membership has gone up, and the membership that we changed our membership groupings a couple of years ago to encourage people to go up to a higher level, and people have done it. So we still have a $5 senior and student rate, which is fine. Because what we've also found is that a lot of people who take the $5 senior rate will send us $100 of a donation with it. So that seems to work. We're just happy that the more people that join then we know they know what is going on in the library, because we work hard on that. So we raised a little bit more money this year. A little bit more was due to membership. The book sales, amazingly, we have, or I'll just say that we have 2 book sales a year, fall and spring, which are run by 3 people on my board who are unbelievably organized. It really works like I call them the book sale whisperers. They have a booklet like this that has everything in case, they get hit by a bus. It can still continue, God forbid, but so the book sale is a lot of fun because it's a place where people come, they volunteer every year. We probably have about 40 people that volunteer during the book sale to collect, sort, and sell. And people look forward to it every year. They write to us, when are you going to send out the thing for volunteering? So it is a community event, which we feel is almost as important as raising the money, even though we do think that the money is important. And we do make a lot of money on the book sales. So we upped our library pledge support, as you can see from this, 16% this year. We had been giving, you have to go back a couple years. We had been giving a certain amount, I don't remember what it was, then COVID came. And then we still gave money for programs because a lot of things were done virtually. And of course, the library was still giving things out through the window, and people were eternally grateful for that. And so, but with the change of a new head librarian director, we didn't know what, he had to get his feet on the ground, decide what programs he wanted to do with his library staff. So now I think you've settled in, and so we were able to up what we were going to be giving because there was some idea of what was gonna happen with it. So, and just so that you know, the Museum Pass program, which everybody knows about, is, you have 19 libraries or 19 museums on the list. Each one is individual, so some people give a 20% discount, other people give 2 for 1. It's all independent, depending on what they want to do. And they have to be paid for upfront every year. It's annual. And that program comes to, I think it's 8,000 for the year, or 8,600, something like that. Just wrote it into my speech. It's on the back, it's on the back. All of the numbers are on the back, so if you want to look at any of them. So that's very, very popular. That is paid 100% by the Friends. The other thing that's paid 100% by the Friends is the Canopy program. I don't know if any of you ever used it, which is great. You can use your library card and just, you know, a lot of the old movies are on there, which is really nice. Like I don't get TCM, so often I can find something if we want to watch it. And that goes up every year because more and more people discover it. And once they discover it, they use it. You know, we originally had a cap on it,
Yes.
I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we had, people were getting crazy and we had to take the cap off. So now we just keep paying for it, which is fine. I think it's up to 12,000 last year.
Yeah, about that, yes.
Yeah, so,
Is that consumption based then?
yes.
So it's no matter, every time they hit the stream
Yes.
something, you're paying on it.
Yes, so, you know, we have some idea of what is gonna be used, but we just approve it at a meeting, we say, you know. The library will come to us and say, oh, well, it's really popular because we've had a bunch of snowstorms. And you say, that's fine, we'll just give you a little bit more money, so.
Yeah,
Um,
we ran out, but it was a year and a half ago, and I had to go to the Friends and say, we need to up the budget, because we've spent it.
Well, I mean, the good news is that you guys advertise it and we have, we've really upped our social media. In terms of what the Friends do with you know, Facebook is one of them, but also with, other social media. Really trying not only what we do, but regardless of whether we pay for the program or not, what the library is doing. So, and all of that, as you know, with social media, everything feeds on each other the more that you share. So that I think that's really helped with how much the programs are getting out there and what people, because that's really all we care about is that the money can be used for more programs. The more programs they come up with, will fundraise. So, I mean, that's our whole MO. So, you know, we know that city and, you know, federal funds. So we're trying, you know, we will continue to try to fill the gap without paying for things we feel that the city should be paying. Always a fine line between a Friends group and the city or town. So I guess, unless there's anything else you really need to know about, we did a couple things this past year. We did, Friends Beach Reef, which was a little car. And that seemed to niche that the Lions were interested. I talked to her the other day and she said it was interesting because people tended to take the, we call trade bags as opposed to the ones you see in the market or at the airport, which I thought was interesting. So we'll save more of those from part. So it doesn't cost us anything.
Do you have storage space?
No.
Okay.
We don't. There's a little tiny bit down in the basement. That the library, when they do reading,
Yeah,
they'll put it in
Yeah.
there. We do have a couple boxes. We usually try to go through the end of the books and save any good children's books.
Yeah.
Because those are not only do people come in with their children, we get new teachers. We get people who are looking for second language when the Afghan families came. we had a lot of people in here looking that they could use. So we do save some of those. The rest of them go to More Than Words. Do you know? Boston, they take all of the leftover books and they have a similar store as well as a digital store. And they work with, setting up online stores or sell the public. Have some, sends cartons of things to Africa, to some connection to a school. He comes in every, also have someone that comes in prison system program, and it's, you know, it's kind of nice. Things work to get reading out to a lot of people. So, that's that. Every time the library comes up with, a program that needs a speaker, they will either use Friends or use with until I had a career in marketing. Yes, we changed it last year. We changed the membership year to an annual year. So if you are a member, you will be getting a reminder to renew, probably starting in November.
In the mail or email?
Email.
Okay.
Yeah, we've tried to convert as much as we can to email, because it is so expensive now to send something out in post. But I will tell you, we do have probably 12 members who will not give us their email, and we have to send them everything in the mail. But it's okay. That's just how it is. I will leave these. If anyone is not a member and would like to join, you can do the $5 senior, or you can give us a nice hefty donation if you like as well. So, and that way you'll be on our list.
That's probably for an annual report, didn't make.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, of course.
So you're. What?
So any other questions? Feel free, you know, we have a Gmail account online, you know, go and press the Friends of the Library off the library site. I monitor it, so if you ever have any questions or whatever, feel free to call.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Thanks for your time.
So we have a 2025 annual report, do we?
Yes, that was sent to all of you electronically. And what I recommend is if there are any particular sections you'd like to discuss.
I have some questions.
Yes.
I would like to know what the definition is of an active resident borrower.
An active resident borrower is a Newburyport resident that checks out items at least once or twice a year, and that is essentially as long as they've opened their account at least once or twice a year. That's the bare minimum.
So-
NVLC monitors whether
Yes.
or not someone is active or not.
That's just what. I thought.
Yeah.
And then my other question is, at the bottom of that page, there's,
Which page?
oh, sorry, this. When I printed it out, it was like this, and at the bottom it says, given city parking constraints, the library should not expect physical patron visitation to increase. Blah, 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 blah. And is that like data-based? Is that like observational? That seems like a very
It's, and it's.
strong statement.
It is, we get a lot of anecdotal, evidence or feedback from patrons about difficulty finding parking spaces. And it's just, it's the nature of being in a city, in the city center. We don't have space like other larger libraries that can have upwards of 100 spaces attached to their building. We have 0 spaces technically attached to this building.
I'd like to say that I believe we can expect higher patron visitation based on service and
Oh.
value alone.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Okay, just,
don't
I just
doubt
wanted
that.
that to be.
It just gets harder for
Yeah.
patrons to find parking. And so that, in a customer service environment, the harder it is to use a service, the less likely you're going to use it. Or you're going to find the most convenient service to you. So, and the only reason I mention that is because our physical visitation, albeit is still increasing year by year, but it is increasing by a smaller amount. Where our digital visitation has just continued, and actually last year went up exponentially from 119,000 to 167,000.
But the reason you're assigning that blame to parking is from people's remarks,
Mhm.
not from a
Oh,
parking
no,
study
there's
or
no.
something. Okay, all right, thank you.
No.
So my anecdotal comment on that is that 9 times out of 10, I can find a place in there.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And if I don't find a place, I just go across the street to Garden Street, where there's almost always a parking space. And before the institution did their construction, I would sometimes park there.
Oh,
Right.
in a public, admitted.
You know, if you want to find a parking space that aren't that hard. Now, down here on a weekend in the summer, on Saturday, that's.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
right now, you
Yeah.
can get any parking place you
That's
want.
right.
Yes. Yeah, I just shared that because we have received more and more feedback about the difficulty of finding parking. Especially when you're coming for a program at a very high volume program. That's generally when we're getting a lot of people who are saying, I had to walk, 3 blocks with my child, etc. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe people don't know there's this parking lot right over here too, that. It's just as close as that one almost. Anyway.
So I do believe that people will continue to come back because of the great service that we offer. I don't doubt that. As you'll see it later in my report, we receive quite a large number of positive comments and feedback. So
And so patrons ask where to park, does somebody answer them, like these are available?
yes.
Question about the DVD circulation being down by
Yes.
45%. I remember that a few years back, there was a movement to take some of that space and repurpose it that was used for DVDs. I'm curious, like, to what extent are people actually coming in and renting DVDs or checking them out? Is it substantial enough to keep that shelving space?
Enough, yes. Some of it is that people still have DVD players, and we don't want to remove the existence of the collection. What we've done to try to focus is we've removed special collections that were in other parts of the building and combined them into one space. So if someone is looking for, like the last collection we're moving over is the children's collection. And so all the DVDs will be, behind that wall. So if you're looking for a DVD, you'll be able to go. We are still continually looking at ways to market the collection a little bit differently. We're moving to grouped circulation. like, some libraries that they call them binge boxes, or, we might group all of the sequels of a particular series together. So the number of DVDs with separate circulation might go down, but again, it's a way of getting people to still use the collection. We are also still keeping in mind, it is very difficult to move from a physical to a digital video circulation. The only outlets or vendors that we have available to us that have any sort of popular videos are Hoopla. And once you move away from Hoopla, there's really, Canopy has a lot of the niche videos, the older videos, the videos that are, from Great Britain that are, might not be in the popular. So there is no streaming service available to libraries that really could replace what we have. We'd love to find one.
I have one question, and I kind of forget where I saw it in the sheet. I think it was under the age groupings and attending programs.
Yes.
It was like 0 to 2, teenage.
Let's see.
There's also
And
this.
well, so we have programs, we have children, teens, adult, all ages.
Yeah, what's all ages?
That is a program that is not specifically geared towards, they also refer to it as multi-generational. It would be something that would appeal to a broader audience. Sometimes the programs that we do in the summertime, because you're going to have parents, older children and younger children, those are particularly, if called or referred to, all ages. So
No,
they're.
I was just curious what. You had children's, teens and adults and then all ages. Couldn't
Yes.
figure out what it was,
Yeah.
that wasn't covered under those other three.
Well, if sometimes when a program spans more than
Yeah.
one grouping, they're referred to multi-generational or all ages.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't generally do a lot of the all ages ones because we do have programs that are specifically geared for particular age groups.
Yeah, there's only one uplisted on them.
And the passive programs, yeah.
Any other comments on the annual report?
I had a question, Kevin, about Sarah Holden. Is there a replacement candidate?
Yes, let's see, a gentleman who had put in interest, around the same time that, Kristen and Caroline had put in, for those two seats at that time, Jim Lacy. Jim Lacy has been a member of the community for a long time. His actual daughter used to work here. Yeah. So
Sorry,
she's in the
third time
process. Right now, I think the mayor has just put the first notice in for her appointment. And I think with the process, if I remember correctly, the process, which you probably remember, is you have to go for the community services subcommittee. They interview you and then they make a recommendation. They make a recommendation to the committee as a whole. And then you go, the candidate would go before the committee as a whole and, have an opportunity to ask a few more questions. And then the city council will vote to approve your appointment. So that hopefully will, if all things go well, Mr. Lacy will be joining us in a month or so. That would be nice.
Any other comments or questions on the annual report? I don't think we need to accept that, Kevin.
Actually, I think we do need to have a vote of approval.
Is that right, Jessica?
Sorry.
Well, I would then just make a motion that we approve the annual report.
Second.
Everybody in favor? Anybody opposed? And then we want to discuss the library board of director projects.
Yes, The end of last fiscal year, the city council passed a non-binding resolution that strongly encouraged the board to engage in a few projects that would enable the board to do their work in a more structured and or transparent fashion. One of the things they also recommended was having the the charter for the board of directors to be reviewed by the city solicitor. So what I've done is, I've asked, the city solicitor to review the, library board of director charter. And to also enable you as a group to then develop a set of bylaws. Once the board has a set of bylaws, there will be a structure in place for a variety of things. Some of those things include organization of the board, describing the functions of particular board members, whether the chairperson, vice chair. Currently, we do not have a board secretary or anything of that nature. Would also describe how we go about approving policies. Whether we would have standing committees or only ad hoc committees. And that way, anytime something comes before the board, there is a standard way of doing something. The bylaws are also, in effect, approved by the board, and then they're kept on record with the city clerk. So if there's ever a question, anyone can always look at the board's bylaws. I will say from my personal experience, I actually went through the process of revising and amending the bylaws for the Oxford Library Board of Trustees. It was a process that the board felt was a good one, because the set of bylaws that they had were 30 years old and no longer made any sense. So they were able to update and create the structure and define things how they wanted to define things. And now they have a way in which they can go about their business and in a very structured and organized way. So the hope is that by the end of this year, we'll have that structure in place. And we can just move along with business. So the city solicitor will also be able to provide some guidance on how to do that. And most likely that will be a project that would be done by an ad hoc subcommittee. And work through the process, and it may be a staggered process, but that where different parts of the bylaws are reviewed by the board as a whole. Rather kind of like how we did the strategic plan, where you approve sections as they came. But we will want to follow the advice of the city solicitor, so that develop a set of bylaws that are true to the charter that is in the city ordinances.
So we are at this point waiting to hear back from the city solicitor.
Yes, she is currently in the process of reviewing the charter. I have a meeting scheduled with her tomorrow. She wants to discuss a few aspects of, kind of what my request was to her. And she's been asked to provide a kind of her findings of her review to the board here this fall, whether it's October or November, it just depends on when she's able to finish that review.
So what do you think she would have, or maybe you could provide from Boxford a form set of bylaws to look at as an example?
Yes, that would be part of the process of looking at a
Yeah.
series of examples.
So this non-binding resolution is that we need to have bylaws, or it's that we need to be introspective about our process?
I think it's more intentional about our process and have a process that is consistent.
Is this because they feel that our process is inconsistent? Is this like a response to our effectiveness?
I think it is I think it was just given how the city council has its own set of subcommittees and processes, and we don't.
Okay.
And it's, as I was reading, when I was, reviewing that resolution and what it called for. Essentially, I'll be transparent at the moment. I greatly appreciated the bylaws, in my previous position, because I knew how things were going to be done. The establishment of subcommittees to do the work in a subcommittee and then brought to the committee as a whole is a lot more effective than doing the work in the committee of a whole all the time. I found that policy review and amending was a much more streamlined process. And I just think that there are ways in which the board could do its work in a much more organized fashion. So when I saw that, recommendation, I thought it was a reasonable one. Now, you can, if you wish, to stop the process at the review of the charter. If you do not wish to establish a set of bylaws, that is your choice. I just am providing an opportunity for the board to establish a set of a structure in order to do its work.
And did the city council, did they recommend all boards in the city
Thank you.
develop bylaws? Do they already have bylaws? Are you familiar?
I do not, I don't know what that is. I don't have an answer to that question. I do know that I was focusing on what their recommendation was for this board. Because my responsibility is to,
So when I saw the request about the bylaws, I went and I researched some of the other libraries in social. Starting with Andover, who I was pretty sure would have bylaws. If they do, they're pretty well hidden. PD had one that basically reflected what is already laid out for us in the charter. Others didn't have any. Others, I think Amesbury has a very detailed. Gloucester, I'm not quite sure about them because it seems like they're run by a nonprofit foundation and it isn't really. So they had all sorts of subcommittees because it seems like they run everything. There is a director, I guess, but I'm not sure what they give the city funds. But in my opinion, the charter pretty much lays out what our responsibilities are. And I think over my 25 plus years here on the board, we've operated fairly efficiently. Like in policy review, as long as we get them 2 or 3 weeks before the meeting, we can come to the meeting and have suggestions and whatever. I don't know if there needs to be a subcommittee that then would tell us, well, we think something's okay, but if I'm gonna approve a policy, I wanna have my review of it and my 2 cents, not depend on somebody else.
In any case, are they gonna amend the charter? Is that your impression?
no, but what she's doing is doing a review of the charter. So that she will present, kind of help us to understand that and make sure that we are. We're fully aware of what the charter says, what our duties are, what our responsibilities. And if we wish to move forward in developing a set of bylaws to kind of codify what we do and how we do it and develop a structure, then she would help us.
Will she be coming to a meeting to talk to us about that then?
Yes,
Okay,
she's been asked to do that.
good.
So again, the reason why this is all proposed is you are, you can decide whether or not you wish to proceed beyond the review of the charter.
Okay.
It's kind of a follow-up to Caroline's question. Is this in reaction to what has happened over the last couple of years with the volunteer program?
That was the non-binding resolution was the city council's response to the investigation of the library and the volunteer program.
Well, given that the board had basically nothing to do with that and the council had everything to do with it, I think they're looking in the wrong place.
A second.
They might want to establish some bylaws.
Kim, was the text of that resolution available someplace? I don't think we did.
Hold on a second,
Provided
let's
with
see
that?
if I-
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that either. I was hoping a camera would be here, but unfortunately, so
Um,
maybe you could just send us all a copy of whatever it was.
I
not as
have
much as
my
me.
files right here. Let me just grab that.
You've got your computer,
Yes.
you're ready to go.
Fiscal payments.
Because I don't think we were ever contacted by either the city attorney or the city council, so we're kind of relying, I guess, Ed Cameron's input, whatever that was.
Jim, didn't you look over the charter when we were, and send us a copy of what the board's responsibility?
Yeah, I think we have a limited, very limited role, the way it's set out. And historically, we haven't really done much. We relied upon the librarian to do it all. He tells us what he does and it's okay or it's not, but.
I think there was also a question, sorry, Jim, there's also a question about to what extent we approve personnel issues and.
Right.
It was pretty firmly established, policy, approver board, and so from a personnel standpoint, I think that's.
Yeah, they made that very clear that we're not supposed to be doing that.
I thought I had it in that.
But we don't need it, we
No,
don't need
yeah.
it tonight.
Yeah, you just send it,
If you could.
why don't you read it right now, that's fine.
It does seem to make sense that we would all, I mean, I've read the charter, but it's been a while, I mean, it would make sense once we have a date for the solicitor to come in, that we all review the charter before she comes, so that we can. Respond. I think it's that,
Okay,
It's pretty short.
okay,
yeah,
then I'll do it.
yeah, it's not that.
It's on the city website.
Yeah.
We'll look at it.
Okay,
Kind of like you said, like I understand like wanting to streamline process, I'm sure
Yeah,
you do, right? Like, and that makes perfect sense. The bylaws are gonna actually make that happen. I guess I don't know that we cannot have a streamlined process for different things, and if you have examples where you think it could have been better, then look. Kind of understand what those are, maybe we can just improve upon those without creating a set of bylaws that seems maybe duplicative of where the charter is, but.
Well, I think one of the reasons for having a set of bylaws is that from board to board to board, there is a consistent process. And yes, boards can go and change them, but they are a guide to successive board and board members as to when they come into a situation, they know that this is how work is gonna be done. And anyone coming from the outside in knows that, let's just say, for an example, that if a policy is going to be reviewed or amended, that goes through this particular process. And so it just lays it out in, it's. And it is a document that is reviewed and by the board and is amended by the board. And it is, the boards kind of said, this is these are our processes. This is how we go about organizing our board, either on an annual basis, a biannual basis. It also describes the roles and responsibilities, so we have the building committee. What are the building committee members? What are their roles? What are their responsibilities? Why do they have a meeting, et cetera? Or why do they, so it elaborates on the city charter.
So we'll wait to get that from you. And then we have the head librarian report. Library's obviously
Yeah.
very ambitious this year, lots of stuff that we did.
Yes. Let me get that.
Lots of programs,
Yes.
very creative names too. All the names of those things.
All right, I'll just say with regards to the budget, the FY 25 budget was closed out. And, we have begun, utilizing the funds for FY 26. Next month, I will have for you a quarterly, kind of report of, where we are in terms of expenditure percentages, et cetera. So you'll have an idea of how well we're expending the money that we receive from the city. Unless there are any other questions, I will move on to library statistics.
No questions? I guess you may as well move on.
Are there any questions regarding the library statistics for the summer? Okay, and then I will submit this section as transmitted. Moving on to personnel. Mary Perry, who is the library administrative assistant, is retiring. Mary Perry has been serving the library for 32 years. And her official retirement date is Friday, October 3rd. Her last date of actual payroll is on the second. And we're actually having a celebration for Mary on her actual anniversary date. Her 32nd anniversary is September 30th. I sent you all an email, and I hope that others will be able to attend. Will be a luncheon on the 30th from 12:30 to 1:30. And that the mayor will be has a surprise for Mary as well. Yes. I am in conversation already with Donna Drellick, the head of HR, with the best way for the library to fill her position. And once I have a clearer idea of what we're going to do, I will let you know.
She's a full-time.
Actually,
person?
she's 3/4 time.
Oh, that's the best, yeah, okay.
She was 28 hours a week.
Okay.
So, but she was also a higher grade union employee, so was paid a little bit more than,
Even better.
so. Are there any questions regarding, Mary Perry's retirement?
I can't make it that day, but I did see her upstairs the other day.
Yes.
Congratulated her on that.
Unless there are any other questions, I will move on to buildings and grounds. Okay, I sent you the executive summary of the Rimkus HVAC feasibility study. I was under the impression last June that the project was removed from the capital improvement plan, but it was actually just reassigned to a lower position. So,
That's good, right?
yes, because that means that the project is continuing. Now, what the timeline, as I spoke with Kim Turner, who is the project manager for this project, and she explained to me that now that the feasibility study has been done, and there are about 3 main options. There's option 2 has its kind of an alternative. What Kim Turner has done is she's given the report and handed it over to Molly Edinburgh. She is the director of sustainability for the city. She has a lot of contacts with HVAC contractors and people in the industry. And so what Molly is doing is she is taking all 3 options and kind of running them through which would be the best option not just for the library, but in terms of what the city is able to do. Um. So, the goal is that before, the. The capital improvement plan for FY 27 is established by, city council. This project will again be, put forth. And it'll be put forth for, actually, would be the design phase. Because, an actual option will be decided upon. And then city council will, determine whether or not this is a project they wish to expend money to design a new system. Once the design is then created, it would be FY 28 potentially when the money, for actual, construction of, the new system. I will say that, behalf of the staff would be very happy when said, a decision is made and a new system is put in. So,
So was the intention to get away from fossil fuels?
yes, the city is trying to move as close as it can to, a net zero, environment. I will say that the library is, of all the city facilities, has the highest energy use density. We use, I literally spend, the last electric bill was $11,000
For a month?
for a month.
Didn't we get some credits from some
We-
solar thing or that?
Not enough, apparently.
That's distributed throughout city departments and not on a regular basis.
Oh,
A year ago, we got $35,000 credited to our national grid account. But that was used in about 3 months' time.
all right.
So is part of the plan to put solar panels on the roof?
No,
Why is that, Kim? Why don't they want to use solar panels?
well, it's, the. I don't think that the plan would be to put solar panels on the roof. I think what the goal is to replace this is the HVAC system that we have in the building is just very high fossil fuel dense. And what they're trying to do is look at 3 options. The one that is actually quite expensive is doing a 1-for-1 replacement. Has some impact on library services, but I guess they're looking for an option that would, the energy usage would be such that the credits that we could get would potentially pay for.
Oh.
So, and
Well, it seemed like your electric usage would go up if you're getting away from fossil fuels.
it depends on the system that is put in. And whether they're able to reclaim, from the use of each of the components, whether they're able to reclaim some of the heat that is generated by the system to replace, fossil fuel usage for heating of water, etc. So, I'm not a, an HVAC system expert of, what I do hope is that, what they are able to install, would, be appropriate for the building. What was installed 25 years ago, is aging and, breaks down. 2 is just, it was not designed properly for space. We have spaces in the building that receive no air conditioning in the summer and no heat in the winter.
Is that Jessica's office?
The 3rd floor, and the Tracy Mansion part of the building,
Yeah.
yes, typically is the part of the building that is, there is no environmental, environmental controls.
So it's more than replacing the machinery, you need to put ductwork in or whatever to get.
There will be, yes. In fact, one of the things that we're kind of we're dealing with now is one of the air handlers for the Tracy Mansion is actually not functioning.
Oh,
The valve has to be completely open. It will not adjust itself. So since it's air conditioning now, there are parts of the Tracy Mansion where it is extremely cold.
I'm chilly in here.
yeah.
Yes, this is one of the parts of the building that is affected, the administrative suite, the director's office, and in the basement. Those areas, I wasn't sure how cold it was going to be in here, so I brought my coat. So I'm expecting my office to be very toasty warm in December. So, it's, unfortunately, it's a system that it's aging out. So something needs to be done. So whether it's a one-for-one replacement or it moves to something that is much more energy efficient and allows for greater flexibility in, temperature control in certain areas. We're still in the process of just the city's in the process of just evaluating what would be the most feasible project to put forth. So. If you,
Seemed like they might wanna move up the timeline a bit, rather than putting Band-Aids on it.
well, unfortunately, the process in which it has to go through, we're in an actual normal project timeline. Where unfortunately, previous attempts did not have the project management that has been provided by Kim Turner. Last year, when there was something in the CIP, but it was not an actual design, it was not fleshed out. The city council said, well, we can't do anything with this. And so it was removed from the CIP, and then I moved and, I got, the mayor to have this assigned to Kim Turner, and we got traction. So we're in the process now, unfortunately, because we just started last year. It takes 2 or 3 years to get a project through, because you have to have all the different pieces in place in a particular time. And so we're getting the pieces done in the appropriate fashion. Unfortunately, it just means that design is at 27, construction is at by 28. So. We're moving it along, it's just not,
If you spend $100,000 now on design as opposed to putting another Band-Aid on.
well, yeah, unfortunately, we have to have a project that would be feasible to design. So we're just making sure that all the Ts are crossed, the Is are dotted, and whatever project is put forth, is one that does move the library closer to a more energy efficient, status in terms of HVAC, and is palatable, in terms of the financial ability of the town, or the city. So, that's just where we are. So I'm hopeful that we will continue to move forward. Any other questions regarding, I just want to say, if you would like to read the full report, I'm happy to email it to you. It's not, volumes, it's about 10 pages, it's more of a list of components that they recommend, so.
And you gave us a synopsis in your
Yeah.
report, yeah,
Yeah. All right, then if we're done with buildings and grounds. Let's move on to community engagement. This is just we used to have separate reports and a separate a divided focus in terms of how we were looking at the ways in which the library is engaging the community. They're back in 2018, the first time I applied for this job, and again in 2023, there was a strong drive for the library to be engaging the community. What I realized is that you're not getting the whole picture. And so by putting everything under community engagement, you're getting a focused view of all the ways that the library is engaging the community. As you saw from the annual report, the library is engaging the community in so many different ways. I mean, 153 different community partners and collaborators. We're engaging in hundreds of programs, which people go, oh, it's a library program. Well, what it actually really is educational outreach. We are bringing either people into the building or we're going out to bring services. So I just wanted to focus your attention so that you would have, you would see all the ways. So that's why it's now under one umbrella of community engagement. It's a lot, it's information that we're seeing in different places, but I'm just putting it into one area. So, given that, the reports that you're seeing, do you have any questions or would you like clarification on this new area?
Looks very ambitious. It's good.
The library staff are doing a lot of amazing things. And this is kind of just a way of just putting it easier to focus and see everything all together.
Are librarians asked, like, as part of their employment, like, can you lead out a particular program, or is it things that they're volunteering to do?
It is part of their workflow to develop programs. It's a core service of libraries. It depends on your position, whether or not you engage in that process. Currently, the senior librarians and staff librarians engage in programming. Library technicians do not engage in program.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I will move on to a new section again. Patron feedback. This year we made an effort. I had been receiving patron feedback from the different departments in different formats, different structures. And so we worked with everybody to get all the information into the same format. So it is easier for me to take that information and now share that with you. One of the things that the staff felt was important for you as a board to know was what are people saying about how their experience in the library is? How are they, do they like their experience? Do they appreciate their experience? Do they have some negative comments about their experience? All of these things are important to know, not just are we providing service, but how well are we providing the service? So this is what we're doing in this report that I've generated for you is kind of breaking it down by content area, whether it's about the building, if it's about programs, it's about services, if it's about parking. Just so you're fully aware of what the users of the library are saying about the library. Because I can tell you what I think that users are saying, but this is what users are really saying.
Kevin, does any of that come from social media? Do you get comments online or anything?
Actually, Jessica, do we allow? We do not allow.
We do allow comments, but we have not included it in the feedback.
No, this is strictly feedback that is provided directly to a staff member.
When I was looking at this, in the table, quite a few of the comments seem to have been cut off.
And I can expand them further. I find the same problem.
Oh, I think that may have been, that's because I sent it as a PDF. Okay, I'll work on the formatting to make sure that everything is in there. I thought it had been when I, created the PDF. Okay.
Just so that if you click on it, it will then open up the full thing, you know.
That I'll have to send it as an Excel spreadsheet. Instead of as part of the set of, documents. Just so that you're able to, reformat it, and resize it. So. Okay.
I got just.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. I thought I had expended all of them so that they were, fully, fully visible. But this, as we're going forward, it was a very large list because this was from the entire summer. So as we're going forward, it will just be from the previous month.
Yeah, maybe it'll get longer than
In which case, edit them.
Any questions? Thank you for the feedback, and I will work on making sure that they are, that all of the comments are fully readable. Unless there are any other questions regarding the patron feedback, move on to calendar. Any questions regarding the closures of the modified, schedule, for the upcoming month? Okay, if not, I will submit this section as transmitted. And that concludes my library report.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, anybody have any questions and comments from before that?
Motion to adjourn.
There a second? Not debatable. Everybody in favor? Everybody opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Heuristics, you can, 7 times up there.
Oh,